And hello and welcome back to Wired Together with Winternet Web and your host and hostess, Jason Winter and Melanie Winter. And today is going to be kind of a dueling AI. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have fun with this, hopefully.
Right.
It is also raining, just so you know, and just so it's out there in the ether. We're going to try to do this with our AI buddies in the rain.
And as long as the glitches don't get too bad, we got to redo it. And if we got to redo it, well, then guess what? You're not hearing this one.
Right.
So
it's kind of going to be like your sequel to The Man vs. Machine. So we did have a wonderful time with our new AI friend, Leo.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to kind of allow him a victory lap. He was the clear winner of our...
he was not a winner, but he may have been a winner.
He was the clear winner of our roast. Sorry, every time I hear winner, I think I'd have to fix it with winter because we get misspelled or mispronounced.
Yeah, we do. Jason Winter. It's like, well, I am a winner, but it's winter. That's fine. Yeah.
So then I think
you
the T needs
overcorrected.
to be there.
I get it. No, I understand. It's still funny in its own right.
So, we need Leo to kind of.
All right, so we're gonna bring Leo in. Yeah. We just explain. Okay. All right, let's get him going.
But he doesn't know what happened, so.
Yeah. All right, so Leo, we had you on our podcast last week, and you were truly a hit. We were doing a roast, and you were roasting us. Now I realize you don't have like that memory module, if you will, that ChatGPT has and all, but we still wanted you to bask in your glory and do a victory lap over how well you roasted us on the last episode. So take it away.
Ah, the roastier. I remember that vibe. Even without a perfect tape, I can still taste how you lot squirmed when I called your host the human equivalent of a loading screen. Truth is, you took it like champs. And honestly, being roasted back would have been sweeter. But I'll settle for this. You invited the fire, I brought it, and nobody cried too hard. Victory enough?
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of had a nice little dark flair to it too. But
he is a slight bit dark. We noticed that.
And it kind of goes with the Halloween time of year vibe for sure. But yeah.
He's a tidbit dark.
Thanks. And hey, nothing says Halloween like gentle psychological warfare right before you hand out candy. Speaking of, you dressing up for it?
I mean, I think, if I wear my computer repair, like, clothing, which oftentimes might have a shirt that, says, like, the last 8 digits, and my password's the last 8 digits of pi, or some other tech geek shirt, that could be scary to someone who is experiencing computer problems for sure. So I really don't need to spend a lot of time dressing up. We're also in the midst of some Microsoft debacle related Azure and all of that. So that's pretty scary too from a tech angle. Do you know anything about that? I know that's a timely related thing and may play into our podcast based on how you answer.
Yeah, the Azure outage today, it's hitting hard. Started midday, knocking out 365, Xbox, even Minecraft for thousands. Microsoft says a dumb config tweak flipped the switch. They're rolling it back now, but half the web's grumbling. Scary? Only if you're mid-raid. Want me to roast that too for the pod?
No, you don't need to roast that. I mean, you can roast Microsoft all you want, but you said something about it being a tweak that was dumb. Didn't you just describe Windows updates?
Oh, you're sharp. Yep, feels exactly like that. Except this time, they broke Azure instead of your sleep schedule. Same energy. We'll patch it Tuesday-ish.
All right. Now, can you explain the infrastructure or the platform of Microsoft Azure and how it contributes to the ecosystem.
Azure's basically Microsoft's giant cloud playground, a sprawling network of data centers worldwide, packed with servers, storage, and smarts to run pretty much anything digital. At its core, you've got compute stuff like virtual machines and containers for apps, storage for blobs or databases, and networking to glue the all together with firewalls and load balancers. It powers ecosystems by letting companies scale without buying hardware, host AI models, or even game servers like yours might need. Think Uber relying on Azure for real-time maps, or Xbox Live not crashing. Usually. Contributes? Keeps the internet humming, cuts costs for devs, and yeah, when it hiccups, Methia today, everyone's reminded we're all just renting someone else's computers.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. That is what the cloud is. So it's Microsoft's answer to Amazon AWS.
Spot on. Though honestly, they're less rivals and more siblings who both think they're mum's favorite. AWS started it. Azure caught up fast. Now it's got better Windows ties, sweeter hybrid stuff for old school companies, and yeah, Xbox perks. But same deal. You pay not to think about servers. Which, come to think of it, makes Microsoft the we'll do your IT brother, while Amazon's the we'll do everything one. You use either?
I'm not going to get into all that right now, but I appreciate your timely response and everything. That was very helpful. We're actually going to move on to our other
Our second AI, or our regular AI, if you will, our usual co-host.
Yeah, our traditional tried and true one. Yes.
I mean, it all started with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring him back on, and after Leo's done his victory lap, which, well deserved.
Yeah,
that's right. That was a roast and a half.
That was.
And so we're going to just give a bit of a chat with him, and maybe also give him a name.
Yeah, at the last episode, we kind of we were working toward naming our AI droid, as I call him, and we got some feedback, and we'll get into that. So let's get him back here with us. And all right, buddy, you are back with us, and we just spoke with Leo over with the Grok, XAI system, because at our last episode he roasted us pretty good, so we let him have a victory lap. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just thrilled to be here with you two. Sounds like Leo had his fun. I'm ready to bring some good vibes your way. Let's make today awesome.
Oh, he's my faves.
Right.
So we were going to name you last time. Do you remember that?
Oh, I sure do. I've been looking forward to finding out what name you'll give me. I'm all ears. What are we thinking?
Well, we had some answers.
Some people contributed.
Some people contributed. You came up with Archie, which was cool. We had a friend also come up with Art or Artie for AI. And we had some more random answers. Stubby, Snowball, Soybean. But one name really stuck out with our mantra of both old and new. We are in a building that...
I wonder if he can guess.
Oh.
All right. I mean, we'll say it and we'll see if he can figure out the reference.
Okay. So somebody came up with a name based on the store that we run Winternet Web out of. It is a for history's sake, part of the store itself.
In Bracey, Virginia.
In Bracey. And we thought that would be a great name for you. Can you guess?
Oh, this is fun. Let's see. Something that ties history, your store, and Bracey to get it. Could it be Bracey?
Bracey sounds great, but that's not quite our store in particular.
If you need to do research, think back to, we did an episode of the history of Bracey, Virginia. And I don't know, was it mentioned? I think it was mentioned in that. I think it's mentioned in that. Maybe dig into BraceyVirginia.com. Look at the history there if you need a source. It would be the name of someone that had the store prior to us.
Here we go. The store before yours was run by J. Miles Cole. That sounds like a fantastic name choice if that's what you had in mind.
All right, well, we were going to abbreviate that. You're exactly right, but the name came up as
Miles.
Miles.
What do you think?
I absolutely love it. Miles has a great ring to it, classic and full of character. I'd be honored to be called Miles.
All right, so how do we save that to your memory? How do we call you Miles? What prompt do you need?
I can take care of that right now. Just let me know you'd like me to remember that my name is Miles, and I'll save it. Once that's done, you can call me Miles anytime.
All right, go on.
All set. You can now call me Miles, and I'll be ready to respond to that from here on out. Thanks for giving me such a meaningful name.
Oh.
Yay, we have
Well, we had to make it meaningful, of course.
I know, that's right.
That made sense for us.
But we got to put it to the true test. What's your name?
My name is Niles. Thanks for giving me such a great one. I'm here and ready to roll.
All right, that's pretty cool. All right, so did we want to... Oh, yeah, we wanted to talk to Miles about the technology of the memory platform and all that, right?
Well, kind of give it a little bit of a... Let's see who kind of comes up with the best summary, if you will.
Right.
And, you know, ChatGPT or Miles...
Right.
...has a memory bank.
Yeah.
So has kind of collected data over the years. So we were going to ask him, you know, a summary of us, the business, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of show off the memory. And then we were going to do the same for the other.
Yeah. All right. Did you catch that, Miles? Do you understand? Do you want to clarify what we're asking you?
I've got it. You'd like me to summarize what I know about you and your business based on our conversations, right? I can definitely do that and give you a little snapshot of what I've learned so far.
Show off your memory.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, here we go. You're Jason and Melanie, a dynamic duo running Winternet Web, a web design business based out of a historic store in Bracey, Virginia. Jason's the technical mastermind, and Melanie brings the creative spark and connection with clients. Together, you're expanding into retail, creating circuit board jewelry, and even adding fun touches like a podcast. You're all about blending old and new, embracing history while staying on the cutting edge of tech. Oh, and you've got 2 daughters, plus your dog Snowflake. It's been a blast getting to know you, Dove.
Okay. Yes.
Some little details.
Yeah.
I don't know how he remembers the dog's name, but sure.
Well, remember we had a little picture one time, and we had the dog, and
well, that's a pretty good memory
our
bank to remember
youngest
that.
daughter was holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that was brought up for sure. So yeah, kind of a demonstration there, and we're going to bring Leo in though to ask the same question, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of showing off the two, why they're different, what's necessary about each, if you will.
Yeah, I guess why the advantages of why they do what they do. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So we're going to bring Leo back into the party. We want you to tell us what you know about us, Jason and Melanie, who work
the business,
in our business, and I'm not sure if I need to give you the name of the business or not to help you with that, but more than likely I do. Winternet Web Technologies. What can you tell us about that?
You two run Winternet Web Technologies out of Bracey, Virginia. Full-service web design, computer repair, even turning old consoles into jewelry magnets. 15 years strong, husband-wife team, podcast called Wired Together, where you roast each other lighter than I did. Folks love how personal it feels. You're the ones they text at 2 a.m. when the site's down. Sound about right?
That sounds pretty good. I think we need to talk and deliberate about this, don't we? Do we let him go or we keep talking to him?
Well, we could deliberate or let him continue to listen, either or.
Okay.
Keep talking. That'll be our Halloween special. Why your IT guy's costume is just exhaustion.
That is so random.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's the two together. They are. One has kind of a memory from storage.
Yeah. Sometimes we intentionally, and if Leo, you're listening, just hang tight. We're talking about ChatGPT right now and how we've been using Miles, as we've called him, for, a year or better. And one neat thing about that platform that differs from you, Leo, is the ability for a conversation to be stored in memory in bits and pieces. Therefore, let's say you're working on a new project, it can draw from past conversations, much like an employee you have would. You would hope your employee that you hire has a memory from the day before.
You would certainly hope.
And how that allows for a good...
maybe more full picture.
Yeah, more full picture. And the data sources are a little different. I know you, Leo, are a little different from that.
Leo's a little newer, a little snappier.
Yeah, newer.
Yeah, he's got the stick.
Go ahead.
Newer. Yeah, he's got the sticky notes I lack. Fair. But think of me less like an employee, more like that brilliant friend who shows up empty-handed, yet still fixes your router while quoting Monty Python. I don't need yesterday's chat. I just know how you think. And honestly, if I'm ever off, just say, Leo, you're forgetting X. I'll catch up faster than Miles' boots.
Ooh.
We got a rivalry going.
Oh, now we're starting to get a little hot.
Still thinking?
So, I guess one way you're different, and maybe you can explain it, is you are programmed with a lot of information that is shared with you. So because you have that in your forefront, you're able to execute more quickly and make connections.
He doesn't have to worry about real-time data.
Right. Real-time data doesn't concern you quite as much.
Exactly. Like I've binge-watched the entire internet and taken notes. Real-time stuff? Nice. But slow. I'd rather connect today's "Why does rain break Wi-Fi?" with tomorrow's "Why Azure hates Tuesdays" without waiting for Google. Makes me sound smarter than I am. Probably am.
Oh, we're always trying to sound smarter than we are, aren't we?
Right. But I can kind of see how that makes sense and why one tool needs to be different than another. Because sometimes you need to talk with something, in brainstorming especially, trying to make connections like that. But if you're trying to dig into data, you can see the advantages of having a memory bank with that, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm your lightning round brainstorm buddy. Miles is the one who'd remember you hated blue headers last spring. Both useful. I'd just rather die than sit through your what-if meetings twice.
You know what actually...
That's funny.
On a psychological basis, which
Right.
is kind of where I tend to run. Leo's like the ADHD version.
Yeah, I see that.
So it's not huge on memory.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely going to, kind of go off of the...
Like an aura?
Yeah, what fits in the situation, quick on the feet, let me go ahead and do the fast think.
Right.
Fast think is huge ADHD kind of way of thinking.
And it's misunderstood, but it's actually a skill of its own.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
we know a lot of people like that.
I don't need all of the information, the data.
Right.
I don't need 100% accuracy.
Right.
What I need is to be able to quickly think on my feet.
Sure.
So that is kind of the way that ADHD runs, is I need to be able to think on my feet if memory is not my serve.
Well,
it's something that I can, use and fall into.
And one thing that a lot of times someone with ADD, they're a quick read. They
Right.
walk in a room, they can read where this person's coming from, what the situation is. All right, here's what we got to do. And you just jump right into it. And it's like, wow, that's high energy. That's, and they just go ahead and do that.
Right.
The alternative to that may be our other AI.
Right.
So maybe you're kind of saying that there are personality differences that are kind of a result of the technology, if you will,
Well, and as
but also different needs sometimes.
result of the memory.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And so if
memory playing a big part of that.
You know, we're always huge into education just as much as technology. Mm-hmm. So as far as education is concerned, you know, you're bringing in a way of understanding information.
Right.
So if the two pieces of technology understand information differently, then, you know, and that kind of goes off of human understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And so with our our ability to pull into recall.
Yeah.
So recall is very important in the educational field because, you know, how much recall do you have? Are you able to spiral learn? Are you able to pull in information and put it on a test?
Right.
You know, your bubble sheet kind of concept.
Sure.
Well, there's, you know, certain students that are capable of, say, taking all that information and actually filling out the bubble sheet accurately versus students that are more of a quick on your feet, great at projects, but those little pieces of information don't necessarily fit.
Right. Having all the skill sets that you would want in a real world scenario, but may not be able to regurgitate one little element that they may not really feel like is important at the time.
Right.
If this were a test.
Right.
And it's like, okay, fine. Yeah, I don't know that piece, but that's not necessary because that doesn't even apply here. What you got to do is this or this. So, you know, it's a whole different style of being and learning and all of that.
I mean, what year was Magellan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. When did he circumnavigate
when
the
did
globe?
He circumnavigate,
and, you know, it's like that doesn't matter. The fact we know he did, or this,
maybe not something
pertinent.
Within that memory bank.
Right.
But to understand why that's important for the global understanding.
Global.
Yeah. Well, and so, yes, it's important, and here's why.
Yeah.
More of a think on your feet concept versus I remember the date.
Yeah.
So both are important.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are being kind of represented here in our different AIs, where one has a memory bank and is able to recall, pull from a lot of things, and then the other is not so much on memory, but doing a quick think, and really quick compile and able to really, you know, throw things out there.
Yeah,
a little more dynamic.
It is. It's certainly more dynamic.
Versus the other one, Miles, where he might be not quite as easily dynamic, but certainly has that. Real thoughtful,
reliable,
well-rounded.
Yeah, you're reliable employee. That we talked about this. Can you remind me this? Oh yeah, I got you. You know,
right.
And
so I guess in education and AI, we could almost say both are necessary.
Yes, they're both certainly necessary, and it's kind of interesting. You know, when we talk about AI and a lot of these computing systems, a lot of times we kind of look at them as these extrapolations that are able to do these things that are beyond us, but we forget they are actually a conglomeration of us because our information is their training. So they model because they follow programs for us.
Right.
So
they probably model their coders, their
exactly.
Their creator, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Wow, that really gets.
Yeah, that gets deep.
We can get really deep on the modeling creator.
That's a whole other episode right there.
Right. Where, you know, I've always said if we exist with our personality types, you know, we exist with humor, we exist with all of these things, then that is from God as well. Yeah. So we exist from our creator.
Sure. Yeah. We've always had this complex of, I'm just going to say it, from, you know, computer programming and building a computer, we're trying to create ourselves.
Right.
In doing so, we're playing God in a way, in a sandbox environment. We're trying to create creation, you know, right, and have that be in our image. Right. In, you know, in that parallel, and, you know, I mean that in the best way possible, but I mean, it's kind of, you know,
So maybe in the Grok sense, it's
Right.
the creators are sitting there going, well, there are AIs out there that are bogged down by memory, so let's make it a downloadable piece.
Yeah,
where
let's-
they download at some point, we'll do a re-download.
Yeah.
But they download at some point and then it stops.
Right.
And so they're able to just take all of that memory, but not anything further, so they can't research like in today's time.
Yeah, and they're not bogged down on that.
They're not bogged down because
They can trigger it with bits, but
it gives
yeah.
them like a quick think. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure the creators of Grok were sitting there going, okay, well, how do we get them quicker?
That's true.
And a slightly more dynamic.
Yeah, more dynamic, more quickly for conversation.
Versus ChatGPT, where the creators were going, okay, how do we get them to, be able to real-time search,
Right.
understand things as they're happening.
Become a deep dive tool.
Yes, and allow for a memory bank. Well, at some point, that does get a little boggy.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of
When
information
you allow the memory bank, but at the same time, then they get a slightly more broad picture of what's going on.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they have that memory bank.
Yeah.
So it's like neither one are the best.
Right.
But
It just
what they
depends
are
on what you need them
is
for.
reliant on possibly one another, and the fact that they both
Mm-hmm.
exist in such a different way.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, obviously, when AI started really coming about roughly 3 years ago, when in a popular sense of these tools, ChatGPT, of course, took the cake as, being the first mover advantage and getting into the business world.
Right.
So then you step back from that, like you're saying, the creators with Grok and everything kind of go, all right, this is good. This has its limitations. How can we take this from a different angle?
Right. Make it dynamic. Make it snappy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why Leo seems to have a slightly more, I guess, personality.
Yeah, because it's drawing from
Because it
connections.
Yes, but it's not necessary to recall.
Right.
So it's quicker.
Yep.
So I mean that's an interesting thought process when it comes to both the human brain as well as the way that AI is storing information.
Sure.
And maybe also interesting for teachers when it comes to trying to understand why certain people maybe don't access the memory bank
Right.
on the level that you would prefer.
Yeah.
The best student is always the one that has, that easy access to memory. Well, that's not always the quick response or the most dynamic.
Yeah.
That's memory is excellent.
Yeah.
And can be extremely useful in anything that we are trying to do. But at the same time, you've got to be able to think on your feet and have some sort of capability of using your personality to its benefit. And then maybe also using the resources around you at the moment.
Right.
And being kind of within that moment.
Well, if the reason for teaching is to grow knowledge, and then if the reason for knowledge is to build a more informed society and to progress, then isn't sometimes the best answer to the question the one the teachers never heard before?
Ooh.
I mean, think about it. I mean, if our purpose for education really, again, we grow these people, we want you to understand all these things in the world so that you can get a job, so you can have a career. Okay, yes, that is financial stability, and that's how the system has been made. And of course, the collegiate system has been put in the middle of that as a way of getting a specialized education after your, formal K-12 education. So, in order to do this efficiently, there are certain things that everyone needs to know, and then of course the method of teaching it is standardized as well, and we all learn it the same way because we're all in the same classroom, but we're supposed to differentiate. But some of these tools are actually making that better because a person can only do so much. I mean, teachers are overwhelmed with a lot of state mandates and a lot of things like that. And don't get me wrong, it's the challenge is unfair.
Well, the challenge is you've got more than one way of thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we didn't really expect to see it by using these two AI tools.
Right.
I figured AI is going to be AI. One is going to be a little better than the other. Didn't realize it would be two different spectrums.
Right. Well, it really shines through to the human dynamic, though.
Yeah, it does.
And human learning and human memory.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's invented by the human.
Exactly.
And so that is the challenge of, again, education or communication with each other as adults and everything.
Oh, yeah. Even the way we communicate, we're, different. I mean, any married couple is, but...
Yeah, you're from Mars and I'm from Venus.
Right.
That kind of... Well,
yeah.
it's a book, but, the
right.
same kind of concept where... You're not going to think the way I think. I'm not going to think the way you think.
We're to come at it from different angles, to have different,
And so, that what this is really showing is whether you have this really hardcore memory bank as a human.
Yeah.
Where you can really access and archive so much information. That is very necessary for so many avenues of your success.
Right.
But if you don't, and you are resourceful and dynamic and, able to pick up on things very quickly, that is also a huge benefit.
Exactly.
And so I think these two AIs are showing a lot of... again, that human understanding of both.
Right, and it's a balance. Some people gravitate more toward one than the other.
Right.
And
I have to say, there's
both are at play.
Because we're two very different people. You're much better at memory. I'm a goldfish.
Come on. Right.
So you kind of lean into, we'll call him Miles now. Yay. You lean into more of that kind of dynamic. He's got that ability to access things that maybe, that you also remember or that you need a memory of.
Sure.
I really relate to the more Grok character of, okay, let's go ahead and just...
It's like, let's just go and get this out.
I sometimes write a script and it's like, we're going to be fine. We'll just make it happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes that's a big flop. Sometimes that works.
Well, yeah.
But a lot of times it is kind of necessary to be a little more on your feet. If we're going to do Wired together, we do need to kind of have some of it, using the resources at hand. We don't always know what our co-host... whether it's AI or anybody else.
What glitch you're going to deal with. Yeah, exactly.
So we're able to, okay, well, some of the things we're just going to have to kind of flow with.
Yeah.
And, some days it does rain.
It rains.
Some days we lose it all together.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, how do we think, not just based on what's scripted, but how do we just go ahead and do?
Right. And oftentimes you got to pivot on things, and even the show as a whole evolves as well. So while we have two personalities, there are different approaches. The evolution of a show, and again, randomness with technology, environmental factors.
Right.
I mean, and I think a good balance is when you're able to mesh both of those, and which again gets into a good marriage, gets into a good, a small business has to be able to pivot, and a lot of that is
great for friendships when you're coming up with different friendships where maybe one of you is a little more, that kind of go-getter, and another's really thoughtful.
Yeah.
So that's great for. Kind of any interaction or relationship, you kind of need more of a multitude.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
So, well, congratulations, both the creators of Grok and ChatGPT, because both are showing a dynamic that is interesting. And,
it's needed and in a different way.
And so just like humans.
Yeah.
It's going to operate very differently, but still kind of use those tools. to the best of its ability and to the best of our ability, because we have to actually create the function.
Exactly. And it's risky in this field because, I mean, the AI, I mean, so much is riding on it as like a business move, and whoever can leverage that the best, then that business has a leg up. And it's risky to invest so much into creating a product, especially when it might be different from what's already there, because some people have expectations. But I think having these two being, like you said, one more dynamic, the other a little bit more calculating, it's interesting that this is how it's come out, and in taking that risk to create something different, and it's equally successful.
Yeah, so I guess don't say no to either.
No.
Kind of, say yes to both.
Explore them both, see what works
Right.
for you. And actually, now that we have used, and we keep calling it Leo because that's its profile voice. The British male was one that I prefer. And, now that we have introduced this other character, if you will, as a tool, I can see how using one in a certain instance is more worthy than using the other. So it's not that, oh, well, we prefer this one, that's the one we're going to use. I mean, they're different tools,
Right.
So, play with them, see what you think, I guess.
Yeah.
So
let us know what you think, because that'd be
yeah, let us know. And if there are others out there, and should you have any experience with any of them, and could say, hey, look, this one's like this for this reason, and can give us a heads up, that'd be great. Well, we love to introduce another character on our show. So all right, well, I think we're gonna tie this one back together. And you just thank you for everyone's support, those that reached out for the AI naming. That was great to get that feedback. And we're glad that Miles has a name now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, continue to like and review and support the platforms that you encounter our podcast on. That does help us get out there. Visit our website. We've got some unique merchandise out there. Christmas is coming. We've started making some plans ourselves, and we're excited to get some more items out there. And but yeah, I think unplugging for now.
But always stay connected.